soul of the island? How would you describe it?
So the soul of our island is really our people. Because once people experience Sri Lanka, they experience genuine warmth and hospitality.
Russia is a very beautiful country. However, the people, they're very cold. They are not very welcoming to the tourists. One underrated destination in Sri Lanka.
I think for centuries we've been welcoming different people from different parts of the world, from the Portuguese to the Dutch to the British. What we're doing is uplifting the brand of Sri Lanka so that people can actually think of experiencing a luxury hotel or a luxury experience while visiting Sri Lanka. Constantly there's a sort of psychological discount. If I've come to Sri Lanka, I shouldn't be paying this much.
I really don't enjoy beaches. But when I see Ahuve, I was in love with this project.
I think people don't see the value in different parts of Colombo.
But just because it is in Sri Lanka, they have this misconception
Yeah.
that it is probably not worth that way, because they are not aware about what these beautiful properties have. Looking for a holiday to Sri Lanka, what is one word which you would say to the viewers to convince them to book that ticket? Sri Lankan Tourism Board has been very aggressive in the Indian market. Most of the people have never heard about Yala, which is sad because it's a beautiful place.
So Yala, if you take Sri Lanka as a country, Yala is on the southeastern coast of Sri Lanka. It is Sri Lanka's second largest national park.
One word to define Sri Lanka. Welcome to Flywings Insights. My name is Shantanu. I'm a travel expert. So at Flywings, we're always searching for a journey which changes the way you see the world. So today, we're diving into an island which is very close to India. And we have a man who holds the key to its most unknown or lesser known hotels, chains, and the most uber luxury properties in Sri Lanka, Mr. Chamindra.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this with us, Mr. Chamindra. It's a pleasure to have you.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
Great. So my first question is for someone who's never been to Sri Lanka and has only known Sri Lanka for its cricket team and the tea, which I'm sure Dilmah Tea is one of your promoters. Resplendent Ceylon is a part of Dilmah Tea Group.
Correct.
So for somebody who's known Sri Lanka only about these two things, what would you tell that person, or what is the soul of the island? How would you describe it?
So the soul of our island is really our people. Because once people experience Sri Lanka, they experience genuine warmth and hospitality. You walk into any village in Sri Lanka, someone will invite you to their home, give you a cup of tea. And that is something that can't be scripted. It's something that is genuine and comes from here.
Right.
So that is something that a lot of our guests really talk about, because they say they fall in love with Sri Lanka. They don't just like Sri Lanka, they don't just enjoy Sri Lanka, but they truly fall in love with Sri Lanka. And that's a very strong emotion. So that level of intensity that level of connect can only happen from a person to a person.
Well, that's wonderfully said, because I've always believed that any destination is either good or bad directly the way their natives react to the tourists.
Correct.
There are a lot of, for example, Russia, and I'll be very unfiltered on this. Russia is a very beautiful country. However, the people, they're very cold. They are not very welcoming to the tourist. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, whenever I have been, I've always been felt as if, it's a second home. It's culturally also very close to India, but the way the people welcome you is very heartwarming.
I think for centuries we've been welcoming different people from different parts of the world, from the Portuguese to the Dutch to the British. So I think there's a sense of being open to guests from different parts of the world coming to Sri Lanka. And also people see the intrinsic value of a tourist coming to Sri Lanka, because they know that tourism is a strong pillar of the Sri Lankan economy. So as a result, they truly value every single guest who comes to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka as a country has gone through some really hard times over the last few decades.
Right.
And even the last sort of 5-6 years, we've gone through some difficult times. And the value of someone coming to Sri Lanka is something that's truly appreciated. So when you come to Sri Lanka, people value the fact that you're there. And they'll welcome you with open arms. And that sort of translates to not just the country, but to our hotels, to the staff. And that's what really makes the difference.
Right. So your properties stretch from the tea hills of Nawara until the southern coast, beaches and everything. There's one unforgettable moment which a first-time traveler staying at a Resplendent Ceylon property would like to experience, what do you think should that be?
It's a difficult question to answer, to be honest. One unforgettable moment really depends on
let's say your favorite.
My favorite would honestly be being up in the tea country, sipping a good cup of Dilmah tea, and just enjoying that view, just completely switching off because you're on this beautiful estate. You get to enjoy a very authentic experience. You're in this beautiful bungalow. But it's not just about the bungalow. You have a beautiful lake in front of you. You can see the factory in the distance. You can hear people kind of walking by. So it's a very authentic.
And you have an infinity pool as well.
We do.
Yes.
And the fact that you can kind of sit there and experience life on a working tea estate is something that is very special because it's not just being in a hotel, but you have your own private chef, your own personal butler, but you're sitting there in the morning. I still remember walking out of teachers during one of my first days and you could hear opera music playing in the background.
Wow.
The butler was there just dusting something and I pinched myself because I was really wondering because it felt like a very surreal moment, the sunlight coming through the window. So it was just that whole experience is something that again can't be scripted. These are these moments that are very, very special. So just sitting back and enjoying a cup of tea overlooking the mountains is something that is truly special. I'm going to add one more if you don't mind.
Sure.
Being out there in the wild at Yala is again, for me, I'm a wildlife enthusiast and a birding enthusiast. So for me, having that experience of just seeing a particular type of bird or a leopard or something along those lines, because Yala has incredible diversity, is because you're switched off from your devices. You don't know what to expect. So you take a turn and you see a black-necked stork, which is one of the most rarest birds in the park. Being able to kind of witness those experiences, because you know that same experience will never be able to be replicated. So
I'm glad that you brought up Yala. A lot of people in India, India is the largest feeder market for Sri Lanka. There are a lot of Indians who travel to Sri Lanka very, very regularly, especially from the southern part of India and now from the central part of India as well. Most of the people have never heard about Yala, which is sad because it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Would you mind elaborating a little bit about Yala and your presence in Yala?
Of course. So Yala, if you take Sri Lanka as a country, Yala is on the southeastern coast of Sri Lanka. It is Sri Lanka's second largest national park. It has multiple blocks within Yala. We are adjacent to block number 1, which is considered the park or the area that has the highest density of leopard anywhere in the world. So leopard is the apex predator. It's one of the most regular sightings in the park in terms of one of the most interesting sightings in the park. You see leopard, you see elephant, you see sloth bear, you see so many different types of bird life. You see the mugger crocodiles. You see incredible types of, the biodiversity in the park. You've got a beautiful animal called the golden jackal. And there's the fact that the entire park is teeming with so much biodiversity is incredible. And the other aspect is Yala. For those who know Yala is known for its leopards. For those who really know the deep south, it's more than just wildlife, because there's a lot of history and heritage in that particular region of the country. So if you take, for example, the first kingdom of Sri Lanka, which is Anuradhapura, one of the kings who ruled Anuradhapura, his actual roots are from the deep south. So that particular part of the country actually has history that dates back over 2,000 years. So there are beautiful forest monasteries and stuff like that in that particular region. So you have this combination of ocean, which, because our property, Wild Coast Tented Lodge, is located just adjacent to the Yala National Park. So it's a combination of ocean, of jungle, and of history and heritage. So that trifecta is something that's very special.
Interesting. And what about the safaris? Does Resplendent Ceylon organize its own safaris?
We do.
Or how is it, just for the viewers, how is it done?
So,
because anybody who's going into a national park, their first motive is to get the safari.
Of course.
Because they want to feel the jungle.
Yeah.
In Japan, there's a term called jungle bathing now. Yes. So, would you mind a little elaborating on how to get the safaris and how Resplendent Ceylon organizes its own safaris?
So, Shantanu, what happens is Wild Coast Tented Lodge, like I said, is located adjacent to Yala National Park. We have a group of rangers at the resort who provide a guided game drive of the park. So we either do morning game drives or evening game drives. And during these game drives, what the rangers really do is provide fantastic context of what you're seeing. And so at Wild Coast, again, it includes a single game drive per day. And if guests want to do 2 game drives, that's possible as well. And like I said, the rangers do a phenomenal job of actually storytelling in terms of the jungle. So when you're seeing an animal, say for example, last time I was in the park, we were driving through the park, and it was there's different ways of tracking leopard, for example.
Yes.
You'll have different types of alarm calls.
That's very difficult to actually see the leopard in the wild, because it has a wonderful camouflage.
It does. Yes. And more than that, it's really about not just seeing the jungle, but in certain cases, listening to the jungle.
Yes.
So what our rangers do really well is they listen to the jungle in terms of identifying different types of alarm calls. So the deer has a different type of alarm call. The peacock has an alarm call. The monkey has so monkey alarm call is one of the most reliable, the grey langurs specifically. Yeah. When they see the leopard, they give an alarm call, which means they have seen it, so they're alerting their colleagues. In that sense, so what happened was we were driving by, we heard the langur alarm call, so we stopped. And immediately the rangers, like, the leopard has to be in that vicinity, like left of us. And so all of us are looking left, and then suddenly out of the blue, like literally the ranger was like, he's right here, like whispered, because he was literally behind the tree, not even 3 meters from where we were, just staring at us. And I still get goosebumps when I think about it. He walked away slowly, turned around, looked at us again. And it was us, the leopard, and the jungle. There was no other jeep, nothing else. It was not a relatively short sighting, but the intensity of the sighting was incredible. So that's the whole context of how our rangers do a fantastic job of listening to the jungle. If our ranger on that day hadn't heard that alarm call, we would have just passed by the leopard and not seen it.
Yeah.
He would have seen us, but we would not have seen him. So that's
they always say the leopard sees you even if you don't see the leopard.
Always sees you. Yeah.
Lovely. So my next question is, there are many luxury hotels in the world, and what I understand, Resplendent Ceylon, which I believe is a boutique luxury.
Correct.
Having said that, in your words, what is different from Resplendent Ceylon to a 5-star hotel with 300 rooms? So
our properties are very small relatively. Our smallest property in our portfolio is just 9 rooms. It's Kaya Wellness. The largest property is 39 rooms, which is Cape Weligama. The real differentiator is we're a family-owned business. The Fernando family that started Dilmah Tea, Malik Fernando is the one who started Resplendent Ceylon, the son of Meryl Fernando, who started Dilmah Tea. So that connection of being a family-owned business and the attention to detail is something that really sets us apart from any other global brand. The attention to detail, say for example at Wild Coast, the copper bathtubs, the leather chairs, the amount of work that people like Malik put into every single aspect of it gives it a sense of authenticity and personality.
Okay.
Whereas, for example, if you go to a global brand, I won't name brands, but the brand is sort of different, or it stays the same across wherever you go. You can go to a brand X in city A, B, C,
it's almost the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Whereas you go to Teachers, it's very different. You go to Wild Coast, it's very different. You go to Cape Weligama, it's very different. So the sense of design is meant to respect the place around it. So, for example, at Wild Coast, the place is inspired by the boulders around it. At Cape Weligama, it's really inspired by the ocean around it. The upholstery in the rooms are inspired by the peacocks that go around the property. So there is a real respect to where we are. So
my favorite is Ahube.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Ahube is lovely. It's a newer property.
And I'm saying that with the disclaimer that I don't like beaches. I don't like the sea at all. I am hydrophobic. And I know that I'm in this industry wherein I have to promote beaches as well, because there are certain people who want to have a beach holiday. But me as a person, if you ask my personal opinion, I really don't enjoy beaches. Okay. But when I see Ahube, I was in love with this property, the kind of secluded gem this is. And you have those boulders on the beaches, then you have the beach to yourself. So my favorite is Ahube. How would you rate Ahube and Cape Weligama?
No, I can't. They're both lovely. I mean, all our you put him in a very difficult position. Ahube is lovely. Cape Weligama is fantastic. Ahube is small in certain ways, so it appeals to a different kind of consumer. The property has 13 keys. It's a more compact resort, but beautiful. I mean, the soul of Ahube, it's very modern. It's very contemporary. The design. It feels very fresh. Cape is a larger resort. It's got more facilities. We've got our own surf area. We tied up with Tropic Surf recently, who's a fantastic surf operator. We have our own beach club. So the kind of facilities at Cape are significantly more. But if you're looking for just a beach break, just to sit on the beach, do nothing at all, every single room at Aho Bay has a phenomenal view of the sunset. So you have each of the properties appeals to slightly different clientele. So it's fantastic that Aho Bay appeals to you. And
It does.
if you ask people in this room and they go to 5 different properties, it'll be 5 different answers.
I'm sure.
And that's the beauty of Resplendent. It's because we have so many different types of properties.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say it's a continent's worth of attraction in one single island.
I agree.
So yeah.
All right.
I hope that answers the
So,
question.
in case somebody is looking for a small celebration, maybe friends and family, maybe a 25th anniversary or maybe a 50th birthday, would you recommend Aho Bay? Would you recommend Cape Weligama?
I would recommend all the properties at Resplendent Ceylon.
But a more compact, private sort of a setup?
So again, depends on the group size of the group. So if it is, for example, a smaller group doing 5 or 6 rooms, teachers would be a fantastic fit because you get the entire bungalow. If it is slightly larger group looking at 10, 11 rooms, Aho Bay has 13 keys. So in that context, you can do an entire buyout of Aho Bay. Similarly, you can do clusters at Cape Weligama.
Okay.
So even if it's 10, 15 rooms, we get a lot of group inquiries for Cape Weligama because Cape, that entire area, has a lot of vibrancy with restaurants, cafes, bars, etc.
Right.
So you have anywhere up to 39 rooms. We've done groups starting from 10 rooms all the way up until 39 rooms doing the entire buyout. Similarly, at Wild Coast also, we have groups that come in on private jets, buy out the entire property. So it really depends on what that specific client is looking for.
Okay.
And you, Shantanu, would know your client very well. That's where travel curators like you play such a crucial part in that role of knowing your client. Okay, this client I know, Chamendra, is an Aho Bay type of client. This client would actually prefer something a little bit more vibrant or a little bit more relaxed.
Right.
Based on that, I'm going to send this particular kind of client up to the mountains or send them to a more vibrant area. So it really depends on the specific client's request.
I have always believed that travel curators like me need to have a little longer conversation with their clients when they receive a query. Most of the people, what they do is they receive a query as per the number of days, number of guests, budget, that's it. My idea is that understand why that person is going to a vacation and why is he choosing that particular place. Then you suggest what kind of hotel suits his requirement, considering the fact that his budget is also something which you need to look at. So I completely agree that we need to work together, the hotelier and the travel curator. In this case, like Resplendent Ceylon and us can really work together to understand the product which you guys are offering and understand the client which can actually acknowledge that kind of luxury.
No, 100% agree because you would know your client best. And when that client comes to you with that request of I want to celebrate my 50th birthday or my 25th wedding anniversary, they would know the kind of group that's also traveling with them.
Right.
So basically, they know their group's preferences. They're a very active group or they're a very, very relaxed group. They want to do, surfing. They want to do safari. They want to do just sit on the beach and do nothing. Recently we had a guest who stayed at Aho Bay, had a group of friends over, and they were up till late in the night, and then they managed to see a beautiful turtle sighting where they just stepped out on the beach, and then there's a turtle laying eggs right next to Aho Bay. So again, it really depends on how you can kind of curate as a travel designer of knowing the guests and exactly knowing that guest preferences makes the world of a difference, because then for us also as a hotel, we know, okay, this particular guest is the pace of the itinerary that they're looking for. This is what they're looking for from their stay. This is the final objective. Because travel, at the end of the day, the whole idea is you want to kind of achieve a certain objective by providing our guests that experience.
Absolutely. And these days, I think people are more looking at experiences rather than just a luxury stay, because luxury stays can be obtained everywhere in the world. The hotel which creates memories, which actually creates certain unforgettable experiences, is something which every traveler is looking for these days. Now, having said that, there are a lot of misconceptions about Sri Lankan hoteliers, the destination in Indian market. One of them which I face is when a person is actually looking for a luxury stay. Perhaps he's not really looking for a sightseeing or anything. He's just looking for relaxation for a couple of days. I feel it is difficult to project Sri Lankan hotels to an Indian luxury traveler just for the sake of experiencing a luxury, which I have been facing, and it is very sad because Sri Lankan Tourism Board has been very aggressive in the Indian market. Indian travelers have known Sri Lanka for a long time, and still, when they're looking for luxury, they're either going to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, or probably they're even going to Phuket, they're going to Maldives, and they're spending a fortune over there. And they can experience the same kind of luxury in Sri Lanka, say Resplendent Ceylon properties. Why is that it is not coming in the mind of the Indian traveler to go to a Sri Lankan hotel to experience luxury?
It is a perception and positioning issue. So over a period of time, countries like Maldives have done very well in positioning their product as a very premium product. Sri Lanka, unfortunately, over a period of time, has not positioned itself in that same space. Now, us as a private company, we are doing a lot to kind of uplift the brand of Sri Lanka. For example, recently, Teachers was given 3 Michelin keys, Wild Coast was given 2 Michelin keys, and Cape was given 1 Michelin key. So we have 6 Michelin keys across the 3 properties. Now, in Maldives, you just have 2 properties that have 3 keys, and in India, just 1, I believe. So in that context, what we're doing is uplifting the brand of Sri Lanka so that people can actually think of experiencing a luxury hotel or a luxury experience while visiting Sri Lanka. Constantly, there's a sort of psychological discount. If I've come to Sri Lanka, I shouldn't be paying this much. But the reality is that the product and the experience is significantly above what you're seeing in terms of Asia. So that particular perception issue is something that we constantly kind of uplift, like tackle on a regular basis. And that's where we kind of really need your support in order to communicate that to your guest. Because when your guests ask you, can know this is a 3-key Michelin property, obviously you're going to pay $1,400 per night for it, because that's the global standard. If you were staying at that same property anywhere else in the world, they would pay that eyes closed.
Absolutely.
So it's just that Sri Lanka over a period of time has not had that same kind of brand uplift, but you're starting to see that now. People are starting to see slowly that Sri Lanka is not a budget destination. Sri Lanka is a globally competitive destination that has the ability to warrant rates that are equivalent to other Asian counterparts, if not European counterparts. So
I
we're
would just
being quite
add to this
yeah.
that in case a property like Cape Weligama or Ahobe would have existed in India, people would have paid twice the amount.
Great. If it was in Europe, people would have paid 4 times
the amount. But just because it is in Sri Lanka, they have this misconception that it is probably not worth that, because they are not aware about what these beautiful properties have. This is something which you would probably, as you rightly said, would have paid 4 times the amount if you stay in somewhere in Greece for such kind of a hotel.
Correct.
So it is, I think, a common mission of you and me to make that awareness in the market, and this is one of the reasons why we are doing this podcast, so that people understand those kind of properties which Resplendent Ceylon has.
Yes. And once they actually come and stay at the property, they see the value for money that they get, and they know the kind of service that our staff provides. Our staff across the 5 resorts do a phenomenal job of really understanding their guests, anticipating their needs, providing those services at that global Brilliant Chateau Michelin level. So for us, constantly maintaining that whole aspect of world-class standards is something that we benchmark ourselves not against our Sri Lankan competitors, but against global brands. And that's where we kind of pitch ourselves. We don't pitch ourselves anywhere shorter.
All right. So tell me, what is one out of the box request, or one really a request from a client which you or your team have done and it has stayed in your memory?
So there's been quite a few over the years. I think one of the interesting ones is we had a guest who flew on a private jet, stayed at all 3 resorts, and the teachers, once they were there, the kids were kind of just roaming around and they wanted to catch up on their piano lessons.
Okay.
So they sent the private jet back to the origin of the country. I won't name the country. Got the instructor here. We got a piano from Colombo, shipped it all the way, or sent it to teachers, and it had to be a specific type of piano. And they had their entire bungalow. So we had to coordinate to make sure that the instructor made it on time, and that we had the right kind of piano so that the kids could continue their piano practices. They were there for 5 days. So it was really interesting because the whole family was traveling purely and was very much centered around the kids. So piano lessons at teachers was something that we managed to kind of just quickly put together within.
This is something which I could have never thought in my dreams. It's such requests could actually come, and you could have actually made it happen.
For us, it's really about never saying no. If it is a request that is something that our guests need, we will go out of our way to do it, and make sure that they have the kind of experience that is memorable. So I mean, they'll never forget the fact that they flew in the piano instructor, and we managed to get that exact band of piano to teach us. And imagine just sitting in the bungalow doing that. You have beautiful views in the background, and that was that was really interesting.
Lovely.
But there's been a lot like that, so
I'm sure. So there's something. See, Indians take a lot of pride in their food, but they don't want to experiment when they travel abroad. The irony is, most of the Indians still want to have the kind of food which they have back home. Even if they travel to Europe or North America, even Latin America, they are looking for Indian restaurants. And these days, most of the hotels have Indian chefs, or they prepare Indian dishes. How good are Resplendent Ceylon hotels in providing authentic Indian meals, and how good are they in providing other vegetarian cuisines? For a non-vegetarian, it is okay, because I'm sure Sri Lanka has an amazing variety of seafood. But for vegetarians, let's clear this apprehension. Since you have 3 Michelin keys, 2 Michelin keys in certain restaurants, how good would a cuisine experience, a gastronomical experience, would be at a Resplendent Ceylon property?
It would be fantastic, because one, Sri Lankan cuisine is predominantly, there are non-veg dishes as well, but a majority of the dishes are purely vegetarian and purely vegan as well. So that aspect with Sri Lankan cuisine, our chefs do a phenomenal job of providing vegetarian options for our guests. We have multiple Indian chefs at our resort, so they do a phenomenal job of providing local Indian cuisine to our Indian guests and providing them with a Sri Lankan touch, making sure that, because at the end of the day, we're really a chateau property, our heavy focus is on gastronomic experience, so providing not just Indian cuisine but elevated Indian cuisine.
Okay.
So the whole aspect of it is, even when we do, we have a chef's table experience. And our Indian chef does a phenomenal chef's table experience, focusing on Indian cuisine as well, on different regions of India.
Okay.
So depending on what your guests require, that's something that can be curated very easily.
Okay.
So we're very comfortable in that space. Our guests who come there walk away with phenomenal feedback. So whether it's just vegetarian cuisine, whether it's vegan cuisine, whether it's Jain cuisine, that is something that we can provide at our level without compromising on any standards at all. And without compromising on the quality of the cuisine. Because yes, Sri Lanka has phenomenal seafood, phenomenal non-veg options as well, but our vegetarian options are out of this world.
Wow. So if an Indian traveler is watching this podcast and looking for a holiday to Sri Lanka, what is one word which you would say to the viewers to convince them to book that ticket?
Book now.
Book now.
Yeah. No, I mean the fact that it's just the fact that it's so close. It's very and that's the psychological aspect that we kind of need to tackle, because it's so close. People constantly think, oh, it's something I can do next time, something I can do next time. But don't wait. Sri Lanka is a fantastic destination. You can travel this weekend, you can travel next weekend. You don't need to plan so much in advance. It's a quick getaway. You can do 3 nights at
It is very well connected.
Very well connected. You have 120 flights a week from different airlines. Sri Lankan Airlines flies, I believe, 80 flights a week from 9 different cities in India. So the fact that Sri Lankan has such great connectivity from so many different cities in India to Sri Lanka makes Sri Lanka such an accessible destination.
And driving from Colombo to down south is very easy. The roads are fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I know Indore is considered the cleanest city in India, which is fantastic. And Sri Lanka is on that same, I would say, a lot of Indians who go to Sri Lanka get surprised, and the one piece of feedback, it's so clean. How do you keep it so clean?
It is, yes.
And so I'm sure we will connect. But in that context, it's that whole light of people get blown away by, recently we had the India-Pakistan game in Colombo.
Yes.
And there was a fantastic concert during halftime, and all of that happened, and people were just blown away by Colombo itself. Colombo is such an underrated destination. Weligama, Hangama, that area, which we call the Southern Riviera, has so much vibrancy in terms of the bars, restaurants, nightlife.
Yes.
There's a skate park that turns into a nightclub at night. There's so many different restaurants that focus on different types of cuisine. So that whole aspect gives Sri Lanka a sense of diversity and a sense of vibrancy that is just a 2-hour flight away.
And I think the beauty about Sri Lanka is Sri Lankans have managed to keep their heritage intact while modernizing their country.
Yeah.
So you are looking for casinos or nightclubs, anything, you can always have Colombo, then you have beaches, then you have the hill stations, you have tea gardens, you have the national parks as well. So all in all, it's a complete destination, and I feel that people should visit Sri Lanka more often. And I can tell from my experience, holidaying in Sri Lanka is actually cheaper than holidaying in India.
Probably.
Yes. In the peak time, if you look at certain hotels in India, they're absurd. The pricing is absolutely absurd. And you escape the crowd in Sri Lanka. It is not that crowded. And you experience the best of the properties like Resplendent Ceylon, good cuisine. And I think it is value for money.
It's fantastic value for money. And especially, one thing that I want to emphasize is the fact that Sri Lanka is a year-round destination. It's not just during one part of the year.
How about during the monsoons? Okay, this is a good question.
No, because it's very valid. Because people assume that, okay, it's July, it's hot in Sri Lanka. No, what the reality is, weather patterns have changed significantly over a period of time. So therefore, when the monsoons do come in, there's a little bit of rain. But in Sri Lanka, it never rains the full day.
It's a passing shower.
It's a passing shower. What the rains are generally come in about May. Traditionally, but even that's now all over the place. You can't predict. It rains when it's not supposed to.
And there are certain parts of Sri Lanka which get rain in the January.
Yeah.
The northern part.
So, yes, correct. The northeastern monsoon.
The northeastern.
So, but the result is because Sri Lanka is affected by 2 different monsoons, and the monsoons don't come when they're supposed to. The patterns are all over the place. It has evolved into a year-round destination. So even when it does rain, it doesn't rain for a long period of time. So, say for example, in the south coast, when it does rain, it'll rain for an hour. It'll cool everything down. So Sri Lanka doesn't experience the rain is actually a good thing for us because we don't necessarily experience the same variance in temperature. Temperature variation throughout the, even Hyderabad, Delhi is in the 40s. Sri Lanka will never go in the 40s. It will be in that 27 to 30 range on the coastal belt. And then in the interiors right now is like 22 degrees, which is lovely and comfortable. So that temperature, the rain actually helps that temperature variance. And even when it does rain, it doesn't affect your stay because it's not like in London where it's raining with grey skies all day long. Short bursts of rain, cools down, and then clear skies. The other day I was driving in, literally the day before we left, driving through Colombo. It had rained just a little bit and cleared up. It was a beautiful rainbow. And the first time I'd ever driven through the end of a rainbow, I was like looking for the pot of gold. But I literally drove through where the rainbow kind of ended. So these are the blessings of the rain. Actually.
And I feel places like Nawara and Kandy, they look even more beautiful during the monsoons or during the rains.
It does.
It gets more greener.
Exactly.
And the waterfalls are there. And everything.
Yeah, May to November is actually a fantastic time to visit Sri Lanka. You get better value for money, and you also get some phenomenal festivals that happen. So right now, this weekend is what we call the Vesak festival, which is a traditional Buddhist festival similar to Diwali in terms of a festival of lights.
Okay.
So all of Colombo and all of Sri Lanka lights up with beautiful lanterns, pandals, all of that. And not a lot of Indians or not a lot of people across the world know about it. Yeah. If they did, they would travel to actually see it because it's absolutely phenomenal festival. So these are the kind of things that we need to educate our potential guests on.
Yes.
So that they know, okay, May is a good time to visit Sri Lanka. June is a fantastic time to visit.
People have been visiting Songkran festival, and everybody knows about the Songkran festival in Thailand.
Yeah, exactly.
However, this festival which you said in Sri Lanka could be a very good selling point for the tourists as well.
Exactly.
And people are not aware about it.
No, nobody knows. I mean, the magnitude of the festival in Sri Lanka is huge because people the whole idea of going and seeing Vesak Balamu in Sri Lanka is very popular because you will drive around, you look at all the lights, you see all the buildings lit up, you see all the different houses, the pandas, the lanterns. You see all of that. So for somebody coming from outside Sri Lanka to be able to experience that is something that's very special. And even, for example, months like June are fantastic. So there's a particular type of fruit that goes into season, which means the bears actually come out to, eat that specific. It's called palu.
Okay.
And palu goes into season. When palu goes into season, it's pretty much fantastic for bear sightings.
Oh, wow.
So there are all these little aspects and nuggets that people don't necessarily know about between May and sort of November is fantastic to visit Sri Lanka. December to April is a busier period with the European travel.
European coming in.
Yeah, which still means...
Which is there for everybody. I think December onwards, the rates do escalate for every destination.
Correct.
But we would definitely like to see more tourists in Sri Lanka during this particular period, which is set May to November.
Exactly.
Yes. So pick one Resplendent Ceylon property where you would like to stay with your family.
You keep making my life very difficult.
No, just pick one. Let's make your life a little difficult.
So with family.
With family.
Cape Weligama. Hands down.
Not Novara.
It's different.
You have 3 bungalows in Novara.
5.
5. Can you name all 5 for our viewers, please?
Yes, so we have 5 bungalows. It's the Ceylon Teachers Estate, which is on the Dunkeld Estate essentially. So we have 5 bungalows: Castlereagh, Dunkeld, Somerville, Norwood, and TNC. So each bungalow is 5 to 6 rooms, and the bungalows are anywhere between 2 to 15 kilometers apart. But the whole aspect is you're on this beautiful working tea estate. That is the experience. It's not really the bungalow, but this entire 3,000-acre tea estate. But going back to the question...
So leaving all this and going to Cape Weligama, please justify this.
I'll explain. If I'm going with, say, it's just my wife and my son, teachers is lovely because it's just the 3 of us, just to kind of get away. Because you get away from the city, a lot of space to kind of run around, great for families as well. But what Cape Weligama provides is something, if you're traveling with larger family, if you're traveling with groups, for example, if I'm taking my parents, my in-laws, etc., all of that, it kind of provides a very holistic experience because it is something for everyone to do.
There are more activities there.
There are more activities there in the sense that there's the forest school, which is fantastic for kids. So recently I went with a group of friends. The kids were anywhere between 2 to 8. And every day in the morning, we have 2 hours of complimentary forest school activity, and same in the afternoon. So for 2 hours, you have, the forest school comes and picks your kids up, and then they take them in a buggy to the forest school. They're taken care of. So we have 2 hours of child-free time, which is bliss for any parent. And then the same in the afternoon. The kids had a fantastic time. Wow. So when you're traveling with a larger group, Cape Weligama is always a fantastic option because of the number of activities. There's something for everyone to do. If you want to just get away from the city and just switch off, Teachers is your option. And if you want to get a kind of more active adventure, like a more high adrenaline experience, that's where Wild Coast comes into the picture. Ahu Bay is great for just switching off, being on the beach. And then Kayam Wellness is fantastic for someone who wants a longer, more restorative kind of wellness break. If you want to just do a full recharge, 7 days.
So what kind of wellness treatments are available at Kayam Bay?
Kayam does a focus on yoga, wellness and Ayurveda. So we have a resident yoga instructor. We have 2 resident Ayurvedic doctors. So that experience is something that from an Ayurveda perspective gives our guests a very holistic kind of experience. The beach is lovely. So it's this combination of boutique, of wellness and beach. So that trifecta is something that is very special at Kayam. So each of the properties is very different. You put me in a difficult spot by asking me on which one, but I would say it's always, it depends on 2 things. It depends on the frame of mind you're in, and depends on who you're traveling with. Those 2 factors, once you understand them, then it helps us understand which property.
So what I make out is, if you're traveling on a honeymoon, maybe Ahu Bay would be a better choice.
Could be. Again,
less crowded, a little more boutique.
Depends again on the frame of mind of that specific client. If that client wants a more active honeymoon.
I'm talking about Ahu Bay so much because I love Ahu Bay.
I can really tell, which I love. So Ahu Bay is fantastic. So is Kayam. I don't want to downplay any single property, but clearly you have a favorite.
I do.
Which is great. So yeah, Ahu Bay is fantastic for honeymooners because also Ahu Bay and Kayam both have child policies of Ahu Bay is 12 plus, Kayam is 16 plus. So in that context, if you're traveling with kids, Ahu Bay and Kayam are not even options.
Yeah.
That's why I always say if you're traveling family, Cape, Wild Coast Teachers are great options. For a honeymooner, Ahu Bay and Kayam work better in certain ways. Cape is still very popular. One of our main segments of clientele is honeymooners across all 3 properties, all 3 Resplendent properties. So it really depends on the type of client.
All right. So quick rapid fire, unfiltered, whatever comes in your mind.
Right, done.
Sri Lankan beaches or the tea hills?
Tea hills.
Okay. Safari at Yala or a luxury train to Ella?
Safari.
Tea or wine?
Gin.
Beer. Sunrise in Sri Lanka or sunset in Sri Lanka?
Sunset.
Why?
I'm very much a sunset person. I enjoy that in the entire sort of time before sunset to after sunset. So it's like, it's not just the exact time, but that entire like the light going down, post sunset, the twilight coming out. So that entire sort of experience and having a cocktail in my hand, like that is special.
All right. One Sri Lankan dish every Indian should try.
That's a good one. Traditional Sri Lankan rice and curry. Because what Sri Lankan rice and curry provides is very different to Indian cuisine. There are similarities to South Indian cuisine, but the traditional Sri Lankan meal of rice and curry is something that's special. I'll add one more, the lamprey, which is of Dutch influence.
Okay.
It is wrapped in a banana leaf, cooked in a banana leaf. It's a combination of ash plantain and a few other vegetables with one protein usually. Is very special because that entire flavor profile is very different to anything else.
All right. One overrated travel trend which is going on right now.
Just global brand hopping. There are certain types of guests who are junkies of particular brands, and I don't think that's necessarily healthy because you need to kind of experience different aspects of it.
Sure.
Our properties, for example, are very different from each other.
Yes.
So when you go to Teachers, to Wild Coast, to Cape, it feels like three different experiences altogether. When you go if you stay the same brand over and over again, you experience almost the same sort of type of experience.
Becomes very monotonous.
Yeah.
Okay. One underrated destination in Sri Lanka.
Colombo.
Underrated.
Colombo, I think, is highly underrated.
Really?
I think people don't see the value in different parts of Colombo. There's a lot of intellectual depth. There's architecture, there's design, there's art.
There's shopping.
Sorry?
There's shopping.
There's fantastic shopping.
You have Noritako.
Yeah, which
people don't know, and people who really understand what Noritako is, they can only buy it either in Colombo or in Japan.
Yeah, so that's just one aspect of it.
Yes.
And I honestly feel that Colombo has a lot more potential and is significantly underrated globally. I think the Indian client is now starting to appreciate Colombo a little bit more. But globally, I feel like Colombo is still significantly underrated. I've been a Colombo boy. I've grown up there all my life. I've worked there. I went to school there. So I've seen it evolve over a period of time.
Right.
So for me, seeing Colombo at where it is right now with all these new cafes popping up, new art galleries popping up, all of that is for me creating this beautiful story of what Colombo is going to be like in a few years.
Wow. I always thought that you would say either Yala or Ella.
No, Yala people know. Ella people know to an extent. But Colombo is generally skipped out because people stay out in the other.
You feel people stay a little less in Colombo than it is required?
I honestly feel like you could easily do. Colombo is usually a one-nighter at the end of it.
Yeah.
You could easily do 2 to 3 nights in Colombo. Like you wouldn't spend one night in a city. And Colombo is now like that India-Pakistan match for me was a good example of how people came to Colombo and actually blown away by what it offered.
Commuting is very easy in Colombo.
Yeah, it's very easy. 15 minutes, you're pretty much anywhere in the city.
Absolutely. There are hardly any jams.
Yeah.
All right, the final question. One word to define Resplendent, one word to define Sri Lanka.
Resplendent would be authentic. I would actually say meaningful because the reality of it is we're traveling with meaning. Because when you travel with us, there's a connection to the whole idea of Mr. Fernando, who started the company, saying business is a matter of human service. We've translated it at Resplendent through Malik's vision to being this whole idea of curating meaningful journeys. So the word meaning is for me very important because it gives you context into the tea, into the jungle, into what you're seeing in Weligama, what you're seeing on the south coast. It really gives us, for us, giving guests that meaning is what gives us difference. And for Sri Lanka, I would say the whole aspect of that genuine warmth, it's 2 words, but
I'll take that.
Is something that Sri Lankans have that you can't replicate, you can't train, you can't put in an SOP.
Yes, you feel it when you travel to Sri
Lanka because everyone who you speak to is genuinely warm, is
they're genuinely happy to see you.
They're genuinely happy to see you.
Yeah.
We were not like this is not a facade. We're genuinely.
You can actually feel it. Yes, even if you go to a cafe, if you go to a shack on the beach, they're very welcoming. They're very hospitable.
Yeah,
so it's a very beautiful thing when you walk into some place and you feel welcome.
Exactly.
It is something which I always look as a traveler.
And India and Sri Lanka have such a special connection over a period of time. And that is something that people really value. Because when we had tough times in Sri Lanka, India helped us out. And that aspect is not forgotten. So for us, that is very important.
Great. So thank you so much, Amindra,
Thanks,
for
Shantanu,
sparing time and throwing some light on Resplendent Ceylon and Sri Lanka as a destination. We really look forward to work together, and we really hope our viewers would take a cue and book now.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you so
Shantanu.
much, Amindra.
Thank you.
Thank you.